My name is Aaron Fruh. Elie Wiesel, in his famous book Night, he says this: "We must take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, but never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Sometimes we must interfere." So those standing here behind this podium this afternoon, they're interfering, they're taking sides, because we know from history that Adolf Hitler waited until the mid-1930s when no one would step up to defend the Jews, and then he struck. Bernard Shaw said, "We learn from history that we learn nothing from history." George Santayana said, "Those who cannot learn from history are doomed to repeat history." And one thing is proven from the history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict: if terrorists stop terrorizing Israel, there will be no more war. If Jews stop defending themselves against acts of terror, there will be no more Jews. The world thinks the dispute in the Middle East is about land, but history proves otherwise. Because from 1948 until 1967, Arabs seized and occupied the West Bank, Jerusalem, and Gaza. And during these years, in the pre-1967 borders, Israel was forced to defend herself against constant acts of terror towards innocent men, women, and children. In the famous Six-Day War of 1967, Israel was again attacked by her neighbors, and it is a great, great, great travesty to assume that if Israel returns to her pre-1967 borders, peace will be a byproduct. The tiny state of Israel is about the size of the state of New Jersey, surrounded by 22 Arab Islamic nations with a total landmass of 640 times the size of Israel. Israel is outnumbered by her neighbors 50-1. The conflict in the Middle East is absolutely not about land. It is about Islamic fundamentalism mission to exterminate Jews, whether they live on 20,000 square miles or 20 acres. This is not a dispute about real estate. It's a dispute about Jews. Hamas, in their covenant of the Islamic resistant movement, they declare this will never work. Speaking of treaties and negotiation, they don't believe that this will work because their entire objective is to ethnically cleanse all Jews from the Middle East. So we must recognize today that giving up land for peace has never, ever brought peace in the face of Islamic terrorism, which seeks to ethnically cleanse the world of its Jews, whether they live in Canaan or in Canada. In the Balfour Declaration, 100% of the land was given to Israel. That's Transjordan and what is all of Israel today. But the Arabs protested. The British gave Transjordan, which is now Jordan, to the Jordanians, and Israel was left with 15% of its original landmass that was promised in the Balfour Declaration. And again, consistent acts of terror over the 15 small percentage points of the 100% they were originally promised. So today we talk about giving up Gaza, which we've done, only moving rocket fire closer to innocent men, women, and children in southern Israel. We're talking about giving up Jerusalem, Hebron, and the Golan. And this giving up more land for peace will bring the destruction of Israel and make it more achievable. In the Abrahamic covenant, 45 times God declares in the Word of God that this land belongs to the Jewish people as an eternal possession. To be anti-Israel is to be anti-Semitic. The rage of the nations is not in defiance against the Jews, but it is in defiance of the God of the Jews. Because the Jewish people, they are the alarm clock of the world. Speaking of God's morality and ethics, and I don't know about you, but I never like to hear my alarm clock go off in the mornings. And so Israel, the Jewish people, they're alarm clock in the world, and that's why the nations are raging against the God of the Jews.